All right, I am back. Thanks so much. I had to get other things set up, but welcome everybody. Good to have you here. You should hear me now and all that good stuff and audio. So it just help if I press this little button over here, which always gets shut off every time I restart. So you'll know when I restart because you can't hear me. So anyways, we're going to dive into this. We're going to get into today's daily creative challenge. I see you over there, Adem Shubamoy. I'm also broadcasting on Facebook. You can always jump over to behance.net/Adobe Live. So that's where you'll find the files and all that good stuff that I'm going to switch to right now. So I want to give you a warm welcome. So feel free to say hello. All right, now it's coming. Feel free to ask questions. This is for you. This is an inclusive space where, you know what? You can ask questions and be who you want to be. For me, I think I'm going to be Paul. Hey, why not? I'm probably the most qualified, hopefully. Paul Trani here. So you can see I'm on this behance.net /challenge/Photoshop. So that'll give you access to all the videos and all the starter files. Right down here is what we're dealing with, metallic to prismatic, which is one of my favorite things to do because it's going to be so fun and so shiny, right? But it's really cool. It's like you get really fast results. Creating things. Click Get Started. That's where you'll get your Getting Started file, of course, through Discord as well. And as you can see, actually, you know what? I will just go ahead and paste that and make that easy for everybody. I'll paste it everywhere if I can. Maybe. Bam. Bam. Afroja, I see you here. Awesome. Welcome. You helped me out so much. Tushar, Muriel, Kate, yeah, everyone. Awesome. Steve. Cool. Right, and this stuff you use sparingly. When I say metallic, what I want to do is I want to be the Stephen King of Photoshop. What the heck does that mean? I just like Stephen King, how he has some of the supernatural in the natural. So now we just have something just very natural. We want to make it supernatural, prismatic, metallic, all that fun stuff. And thank you so much for posting that, Sam. Rick H, what's up? Rick's in the house. So right in here, we can see hands. I have two different versions, this one and then this one. So pick which one you want. I like this one because it has a background, shows some depth, which is nice. All right, yeah, we can do that for you. So here we are. First thing we want to do, turn off that background layer, and we're going to extract the hands. Because I think what would be cool is if something magical happens as soon as they touch. Okay, so that's the idea. Hello, Muriel. Hello, Nana from the UK. Is this Photoshop or what? Again, there are no dumb questions. Great question. It is Photoshop, right? So let's select this hands layer. It is a pixel-based layer. I will go to my properties panel. You guys know I like doing this. If there was one easy button, it's this one. It's remove background under quick actions. So all I need to do is click remove background because we got to get where we want to be. In fact, even before I'll do that, I'll jump this current layer, Command J, because I still need the background, right? But you can see that that's working. We'll go over here, remove background, click. It gets almost everything, but not quite, right? So this is a good place to start. So typically I'll jump in, maybe use my quick selection tool, right? Let it do all the work as I click around and start adding. And I usually toggle between maybe quick selection and my lasso tool. So there's some cleanup that you might have to do, right? Right up here on the knuckle. Let's add 2, which is holding down the shift key is always going to add 2. If you want to have a straight line, shift key and then option key, right? And now I'll have this straight line. First shift key because we got to turn that into a plus sign or add to it. And then option key to give you that straight line, right? And again, right in here, doesn't do me a whole lot of good. Let's get rid of this chunk. This is our life, but not to worry. We're going to get to making this magical in a second. But we do especially have to get that center point, okay? Right now I'm just making selections. I could just as easily use the brush. That's pretty good. Just had to get a couple of those areas. Now we'll just make sure we're on the hands layer. We want to fill that, right? We want to fill that. So Shift Delete will bring this up and we can fill it with black, which happens to be my background color. Okay, we got that. Now we have the hands isolated. Shoop, shoop, shoop. We move that around. We can have some fun. Now let's add some fun colors. Am I using a pen? I am not. I have one right here, but I feel like that's cheating since I say more people using the mouse over a pen. But yeah, it would have been easier if I used a pen. Would have also been easier if I used the iPad as well with Apple Pencil. All right. So with that done, let's get into some fun metallic prismatic colors. Let's create a new layer. Let's do this just for kicks. We'll go right over here. We'll go to gradients. You know I love a good gradient, right? This is where I spend most of my time. All right, and we can pick from a number of these gradients. If you don't have all of these, by the way, just go to this flyout menu, go to Legacy Gradients, because in Legacy Gradients, which happen to open at the very bottom, right, you're going to have spectrums. I really like these spectrums, right, because we have a rainbow of colors. So our goal is to have a rainbow of colors in here. So again, go with spectrums. There's other awesome ones in here. I typically have them all in one view, as many of you know. So again, pick the colors that you want. I'm picking. Too much. We can go ahead and take that. We can go to we can take this. We can go and convert this to a smart object. Bam. Now we've protected that, which means we could change it any time later on. And then we can go to filter and down to liquify. Oh, you guys like the gradient? Oh, I appreciate it. Let's turn off show a black backdrop. Let's make sure we have this distortion tool right up at the top. It's called forward warp. I don't know why it's called forward, right? I don't know if it makes a whole lot of sense to me, but let's go ahead and push this around. Zoop, 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 zoop. Just like that. And we can have some fun with these swirls and making something, the start of something like Prismatic, which again, if that's not fun, I don't know. If you don't think that's fun, I don't know. Check your pulse. I love a good gradient. Me too. The great thing about this, Dana, as you well know, is since we've protected this right in here, we could double click on it and now we're inside of that smart object. So what I'll do is I'll jump that layer. I'll have multiple gradients in here because I'm always changing my mind. This one has stripes, for instance. Let's jump it again. Let's add maybe something that's just more all warm tones, or love these pastels. Since it was Easter, maybe that will look good. So I typically have a number of them set up in here because as I change them here, right, as I save it, let's move this over, we'll see it changes over here. So jump back, Command J, maybe do that or that. Save it, watch it change. You get the idea. Cool. This one isn't going to really change it that much. Yeah, it's okay. All right, everybody. Am I going too fast? It's that fine balance. I know if you're new, just joining us, I would love to say hello. Oh, Saint Yannick looks like he's learning stuff. That's good. So this is most important. Have these smart objects. Means you could change the file. You can add effects to it and all that fun stuff, right? And it doesn't affect your original. Here's the original. Okay, we could play with blend modes in here. We'll get to that in a little bit. And actually, we'll probably bring this back some. But probably from here, let's actually roll through some of these gradients. Excuse me, these blend modes. Because I want it to kind of mix with the environment. So that's where I might use pin light. Okay, like that. Let me drink my coffee. Stony Braswell's here. You are never late. You are always right on time. Appreciate you hanging out. Marcia brings up a good point. I remember when gradients were passe and flat design was all the rage. It's now where we're at is we're at after like smooth, they're all smooth gradients. They're not quite this drastic. But typically from here, what you could do is you could add another layer mask. You could start painting with black. So adding a layer mask, and I can start removing if I want to. Take the hardness down and just kind of have it come out from the center. And we could still push this stuff around, not to worry. But let's just kind of do something kind of like that, sort of as a starting point. Let's have fun with the hands now. This is going to be a blast. So I'm going to have the original hands. So original hands. And then we're going to do Command J to jump this layer. Then we're going to make this metallic or prismatic, depending on, we might do some different passes at this. But what I also want to do is I want to convert this to a smart object as well. So let's take this, convert to smart object. Hopefully that's a shortcut key for you. And let's go ahead and have some fun with it. One easy way to do this is curves, right? Throwing some curves on there. All right. Sean, how you doing, man? Thinking of you today. All right. Oh, I see. I'm kind of a downer. This is not too good. Jewish in Berlin background. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Anyways, let's take this. Let's play with the hands. Let's turn off that background. Let's go to this, and we'll crank this up, and then we'll crank it down, and we'll crank it up, and then we'll crank it down. And we have fun, and all of a sudden this is very much like I consider it like a prismatic work, so it's kind of just from another planet, really, is what it seems like to me. So, yes, throwing in some curves on those hands. And from there, we could always erase. So for each adjustment layer, as you click on it, you're like, hey, I can paint and remove those curves just like I could remove some of the prismatic background look. So B for brush. Let's go in here. Again, the goal is to kind of just paint some of this away and adjust the flow. Taking the flow down will build up to 100%. Okay, so that's what flow does. I'm really loving these colors, by the way. I just love these colors. What makes this work is the fact that this original image has lots of gradations from light to dark. So that actually works out really well. Right, so now we have this prismatic look, which we could take this as far as we want. We could really kind of bring it in to where it's just touching the fingers like that. And then we all of a sudden have like a burst coming out like so. By the way, we made this awesome curves. Could I put the curves on this gradient fill layer? Well, let's do a Command J just to jump it. Let's drag it down and let's clip it. Ready for this? Clipped. And now it will sort of give it another sort of level of like oomph, if you will, to use a technical term. Right? See what it does? Does that. Now, yes, thank you, Jan. I just want to clap. Jan, yes, just curves does that. Yeah. And that's why I'm like, oh, this is so good. This is why it's one of my favorite things to do. Like, oh, look at that. Gorgeous. It's like they're turning into metal, which is cool. Hello, Noor. Hello, Georgian. Georgianne. I don't know how to say your name. Georgianne, is that right? I'm doing well. Let's see. Smart object are a game changer. You're exactly right. I'm not crazy about this background. What I can think about doing is what if, you ready for this? I'm going to next level this puppy, right? So I'm going to turn all this stuff off. I'm going to, you ready for this? Let's do this. Let's just do a select subject. It's going to select the hands. Let's just duplicate this layer so I have a background. Let's expand this out by 5 pixels. Oops. Did I do that right? Yeah, expand. Expanding and contracting you have to play with because it all depends on the resolution of the file. I'm going to fill this. Doesn't matter a whole lot, but let's go ahead and fill this with, do a content aware fill on my selection. So I'm basically saying, hey, you know what, get rid of those hands. Like so. And yeah, it'll keep some there that I can always fix, right? If this ever happens, you guys kind of grab this. It's not a huge deal because I'm going to be like distorting this way too much anyways. You're not even going to recognize it. But I could patch, oops, wrong way. Move, content aware move. I can move that over and it'll patch it up, right? So again, just patch or move. Anyways, I'm spending too much time on this because I want to just make this fun and prismatic. There it is. It kind of blends it in. Cool thing is, make this a smart object. Apply the same liquify. Let's try this. This should work. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to take liquify. I'm going to hold down the Option key or Alt key if you're on a PC. Drag it to the hands layer. Because what I wanted to do is liquify that background the same way I did those colors. All right, checking. Cool, cool, cool. This is taking a little bit of time. This is where we maybe talk amongst ourselves. Maybe we just hit cancel. That's okay. Let's just hit cancel. There, let's get rid of liquify there. Let's just do this ourselves because that was going to take too long. Liquify, jump in here. Oh, this is why actually the content aware fill was being kind of funky. So let's just push that out of the way. But right in here, this is where all the crazy stuff's going to happen. Whoa. Like that. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You could twirl since we know we have that sort of touching in the middle. I can take this and I can twirl it in the center. See what it's doing. Come on now, look at that. Awesome. Click OK. Now we have this craziness that we can add to our like metallic hands. And again, I would go ahead and remove. Turn that on. Like that. And really, it's just your chance to play. Like, man, so much I could do right in here. Let's do the same thing. Let's take these curves. Let's drag it down. Let's duplicate it. Sorry. Command J. Put the curves and apply it to that new crazy. So we just made this, is what we just made. Oops. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. And we can start sort of playing with colors on top of it. Smoothing is not accessible when you use your brush. It depends on your brush. If smoothing doesn't appear, it's because you have probably a different brush selected, right? So you're not going to have a normal brush selected. You probably have some weird concept brush, something that might be more of a smudge. So notice how I select this concept brush, I no longer have smooth. So make sure you just go up here and pick like soft round. And by the way, you could always go up here, right click, and then reset that tool back to the way it was originally. But again, make sure you're on that brush tool. Sometimes when you switch brushes up here, you switch to a concept brush that changes it to color replace a mixer brush. Just make sure you're on brush, that's all. Yeah, I'm not crazy about this. Here's another thing we can do. Yeah, I'm not crazy about this, everyone. You know why? Because the hands are getting lost. So I need to kind of just change that, make it a little more contrasty. So yeah, that's okay. Let me show you some other ways. Let's actually take this. This is Command T. Let's take this down 50%. Why not? Maybe I need to remove a little bit more. There we go. Just making it sort of a little bit softer. And let's play with the hands as well. Too busy. Joan is exactly right. It is too busy. Right? So again, this is where you kind of have to play with this stuff as an artist. Like, these hands are really metallic. I either have to get rid of this stuff back here and then do like a little burst. Right? That's what I'm doing right now. I just created this little burst in the center, and you can see it right there. As a designer, I would play with this burst kind of radiating out from, there we go, from the center, and then I would change the color. All right. Welcome, everyone, if you're just joining me. I'm Paul, and I'm just making a mess. Yeah, there we go. That's the intensity that I want. So it actually is working. This is the brightness I was going for. It's getting a little lost because that background is already a little bright. All right. You guys get the idea. Make a gradient using the colors in the hands, teal, burnt orange. Exactly, Amanda, that's exactly what I did. We are on the same page, right? Because that's what I was doing. How you would do that is, again, I would just add, I use layer styles to do that. So again, we have this lovely prismatic colors. We'll do outer glow. We could do a drop shadow, right? A drop shadow beefs it up, but more importantly, like you said, we'd pick that teal color and mix that in as well. So it actually is working, right? But you're going to be able to tell a little bit more as you kind of strengthen the colors and as you move it off to the side, right? So it added a little bit of teal, and I would crank that up some more. Okay, geez, I only have 2 minutes. What else do I want to work on? Controlling that color as well. If you wanted to shift that color, you would throw on more filters, like changing the color balance, for instance. Last thing I wanted to do is also just take these original hands, move them up here, and show you that what you can do within my last minutes, you have filter gallery. So in here, you're like, hey, I want to make this look metallic. You could go into Chrome. Here we've added Chrome. What this does makes it almost too detailed. And no matter how much you change this, it's still going to be very lumpy. So what you actually need to do is you need to blur that slightly, and then you're going to get more gradation from darks to lights. Okay, but that is Chrome, and there's also glass in here. So try glass. Oh, excuse me, ocean ripple. Let's take a look in here. I always got to relearn these. Yeah, so, and you could stack those one on top of the next to get the effect that you want. Click OK. There that is. Now we have it as a metallic. And again, we could just maybe keep the highlights by going to, say, lighten, or within this context, or we could even change this to overlay. So you could see all this crazy, magical, fun stuff we could do and how crazy it could be. Obviously, we'll end with this one. Output your design, right? Post it to Discord, and let us know what you make, because we're here to support you as artists and everything. So thanks so much, everybody. Appreciate you. Stay tuned. We got more happening today. Have a beautiful day, and go be kind to one another. Thanks so much, everyone. We'll see ya.